This video has been created by Great IT Courses. It's a part of a mathematics course that will teach you mathematics step by step from basic algebra all the way up to calculus. For more information or subscribe to the course, please read the video description. Thank you. So in this video we want to talk about the distance formula. The distance formula is a very useful formula in mathematics, and it's used almost everywhere. So, and it's very simple. Now that you know what the Cartesian coordinate system is, you can basically figure out many things based on this system. Let's say you have the Cartesian coordinate system, something like this. This is basically x, and this is y. Now, if you have 2 points, any 2 points in this, in the plane, for example, one of your points is over here. Let me draw some scales here. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 6, 7. So let me let's say this is one of my points, and let's say this is the other point that I have. So I have these 2 points over in the plane, and I want to know what's the basically the distance between these 2 points. And well, in this plane, if I had, for example, 2 points like this, for example, one point over here and 1 point over here, then I would know that, for example, this the coordinate of this point is 1, 2, 3. So the coordinate of this point is, for instance, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the coordinate of this point is 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 4. And so this is the coordinate of this point. And then I would, and these 2 points are basically on a horizontal line. So on a horizontal line, you can simply basically calculate the distance between these 2 points in the plane, because a horizontal line in the plane, you know the x coordinate of this point, and you know the x coordinate of this point, and you would say, for example, the distance between these 2 points is equal to the x coordinate of this point, which is 6, minus the x coordinate of this point, which is, for example, 3, and then you would know that this is the distance between these 2 points, for example. And even if you wanted to check that, you could, for example, simply count the number of units between the 2 points. This point corresponds to this x coordinate, which is whatever it is, doesn't matter. So you start going from here in a horizontal direction, so 1, 2, and 3, and you basically reach this point. So the distance between these 2 points is 3 units. But the problem here is that the 2 points that I have over here, and I want to know their distance, they're not on a horizontal line, they're not on a vertical line. If they were on a horizontal line like this, I could calculate it like what we did here, and by the same logic I could basically calculate the distance between 2 points on a vertical line, and that would be also easy. But these 2 points are just on a line, on a slanted line that has some sort of a slope, a positive slope, as you can see over here. And in order to do this kind of calculation, we need to use the Pythagorean theorem and use some some more logic and throw some more logic in there so that we can basically get it done. Now in order to be able to do that, let's suppose that the 2 points, first of all, let's suppose that the 2 points are on a horizontal line. If that were the case, then the basically the 2 points would be on this line over here. And now let's suppose that this point is over here on this line, and then I just drop a perpendicular line to this point on this line. So then I would get something like this, or even something like this. So then that is basically, and let's now join these 2 points together. If I join these 2 points, would be something like this. So now, as you can see over here, I have a triangle over. I have formed basically a triangle over here, and this triangle it has a right angle over here, has this side and this side. This side basically denotes the horizontal distance between the 2 points, this point and this point. And this side basically denotes the vertical distance between the 2 points. And since I have a right triangle, I can basically use the Pythagorean theorem to calculate the distance between these 2 points. How I'm going to do that? You know that the Pythagorean theorem is all about right triangles. So if you have a right triangle like this, based on the Pythagorean theorem, if I call this A, for example, if I call this B and this side C, based on the Pythagorean theorem, always A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared. So the distance between the distance between, for example, let's say these are my points. So the distance between these 2 points is equal to the distance is equal to this side whole squared plus this side whole squared. So I can basically do the same thing over here. I can call this point, let's call this point, for example, I don't know, x1, and let's call this point, for example, this point over here, let's call the coordinates of these x1 and y1. The coordinates of this point I'm going to call x2 and y2. Now in order to find the length of this side in this triangle, so I know that the x coordinate of this point is x1, the x coordinate of this point is x2. So this side, this whole side over here, this I could write it as x2 minus x1. And so as I don't want to get any negative values over here, so I simply write it as the absolute value of x2 minus x1. So this is this length, and this length right here, this length right here, I write this length as, I know that the y coordinate of this point is y1. So here y is equal to y1 at this point. At this point y is equal to y2, so I could basically write this length as y2 minus y1. And because I don't want to get any negative values, because a negative value, you do not use a negative value for a length. A length is always positive. So I write it as the absolute value of y2 minus y1. Now I have basically the Pythagorean theorem and this formula, and if I want to calculate this length over here, I can write it as, this would be basically my c squared. So this would be the c side over here. So this is the c side, and this is basically the b side. So this is basically b. So now a squared, or this side whole squared, so a squared would be basically b squared plus c squared. You know that already. B squared plus c squared. Now I can substitute b squared, this value for b squared, and this value for this value for b, and this value for c. So then a squared would be b squared. So the absolute value of y2 minus y1 whole squared. And I can write this as c squared is the absolute value of x2 minus x1 whole squared. And well, whatever this value is, whatever x2 minus x1 is, whatever it is, I am basically squaring that value. So it doesn't, whether it's a negative value or whether it's a positive value, at the end of the day I'm squaring that value. So whether it's negative or positive, I'm going to get a positive value because it's going to be squared. And so I can rewrite this equation as a squared is equal to y2 minus y1 whole squared. You don't have to write the absolute value signs because the value is being squared, plus x2 minus x1 whole squared. Now in order, I'm looking for the length, for this length a over here, so I simply write this as a is equal to the square root of y2 minus y1 whole squared plus x2 minus x1 whole squared. And basically this is the distance between these 2 points, and this is basically called the distance formula. Very simple, and it's going to help you a lot in your life in mathematics. So that's basically, and this is basically, this denotes the distance between any 2 points x1 y1 and x2 y2. If you have any 2 points in the Cartesian coordinate system, x1 y1, x2 y2, this you can use this formula to calculate the distance between the 2 points. And that's basically what we call the distance formula.